Hi. So today I would like to talk a little bit about discussion posts, more particularly when you reply to your colleagues, to your peers, and what makes a strong reply. So we'll use our discussion for this week, week 3, about the thesis statement as the basis for this post. Okay, let's see. Let's move on here. So what I want you to think about, first of all, is that discussion posts foster community. They are really an exchange of support, but also help that includes constructive criticism. So in the classroom, the community might look like the picture over there on the right. You bring in files or parts of drafts and you get together in small groups and go over them and think about them and talk about them, exchange ideas. But online, they take the shape of our discussions. And one of the things that's important, as I mentioned already, is encouragement. So as a fellow poster, a fellow reviewer, you would encourage your classmates, and you would also engage in constructive criticism. Sometimes this takes a little bit more self-confidence than some of you may have at this point. You might think, oh, this is hard. I can't be unkind. I can't tell this person what's wrong with their work. Or you might think, I'm unqualified to give advice because I don't know the answers myself. So just hang tight here and we'll talk a little bit more about this, okay? So discussion posts and replies have several elements to them so that the post is strong. First of all, you need to analyze something in this post. What works well that the writer does? What does not work? You need to question the content in the post. Is there something missing in the post that would add clarity to it? Something you don't understand or something you'd like to see in order to understand the writer's point of view better? You need to question the form of the post, and by this I mean go back to the original prompt that you're given and see, is this post really asking and is really answering the questions in that prompt? What's missing there? Is there something that I can identify that I could help the writer with? Now let's go through each one of these in a little bit more detail. So when you're asked to analyze something, of course, you want to give a star to them. You want to give encouragement, and that's important. And you can find that a lot of times, but a lot of times what I'm seeing is people are just saying, oh, I agree with you completely, this is great, but you don't tell us why. You need to always give an example with every statement that you make. Back it up. This helps the writer to see what in the post was strong. You might give them a little question mark like, I don't know about this one, right? But again, you need to also tell them why and show an example. Analysis is not just saying what you like about the post. It's not just saying like, your goal fits all of the elements needed to be a SMART goal. Okay, even though that might be a good observation. Instead, you need to give examples about how the writer does this or maybe does not do that. So again, go back to that discussion prompt. What is the instructor asking you to focus on, and did the writer do it? And what's missing? Okay, not that hard to think about. The next point that I brought up earlier is you need to question the content. So for example, in our discussion 3, if I posted this as my stated goal in my thesis statement, I want to successfully complete my classes. Well, you might look at that and think, that's a little vague. But you might say, well, really what I'd like to know is how far does this person intend to go in college? So your post would consist of, great post, how far do you intend to go in college? What's wrong with that? Well, first of all, I think the question leaves out a specific connection back to the thesis. You're just making small talk or talking to the writer as a person, but not as a reviewer to a writer. So here's what I would suggest. Rather than what you have as great post, how far do you intend to go in college, just make it into analysis by saying, the goal in your thesis is vague. When you say that your college goal is successfully completing some college courses, how far do you intend to go in college? Now that post connects the question back to what's wrong with the thesis or what's lacking from the thesis. Okay, it talks about the fact that the goal is vague, and then you have an example. Okay, so the next thing we were talking about was questioning form. Since this one is about crafting a thesis statement, let's examine that within the framework of these questions I'm asking you here. So you can ask the writer, does this writer's post address main questions or the main topic posted in the original discussion prompt? So in this case, it is writing a strong thesis, right? So here you would need to comment on the strength of the thesis statement. One way you could do this, is not the only way, but one way you could do this would be to analyze, does it fit the SMART goal model? If so, how? If it doesn't, which element is missing? Another thing you could look at is, does the thesis include a clear map of where the writer is headed in the essay? Which is like usually the subtopics. So you have the goal and then the subtopics or the points you want to make in your essay. So those are two ways that you can look at the form of the thesis statement, question it, and see if it meets the requirements that the discussion post set forth in the original prompt. Now we're going to do a little sample post here. So I'm taking the thesis statement from the essay, the student essay that Amy posted, and I'm going to say that maybe we were in a discussion and she posted it, and then I want to respond to that. So as you recall, in order to successfully achieve an Associate of Arts degree in the next 2 years, I will need to register for a full-time load every semester, attend class sessions regularly, and develop study habits that are effective for my learning style needs. So I might look at that and say, I'm going to give a star to that because she got a lot of the elements of that SMART goal. And I might say this, your thesis clearly fits the SMART goal model. It shows a specific outcome, there's your S, you want to achieve. You will be able to M, measure whether or not you meet your goal by getting your degree. It is definitely possible for you to A, attain this goal if you work on the strategies you listed, and finally, you have given yourself a definite time limit. I purposefully left out the letter R, and here's why. Now I want to analyze something that I think may be a weakness in this thesis statement. So on the left, I put the thesis statement again, and on the right, I'm going to say what my last point in my post would be. I think you could improve on the relevance part by telling what kind of a degree you are pursuing. This might help me feel more connection to your essay. So in this sample post, you've given encouragement, you've shown what you think is good about the post, and you've given specific examples as to what those are. And then you've also found a fault in it, a place where, so much a fault, but a place where the writer can improve, and give an example of how that might occur. So basically, to get back to the idea of confidence, guys, first of all, you need to remember that you have a unique point of view that no one else has. And you've heard the phrase, you know, 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. Well, no matter where you are in the process of writing and understanding writing, the way you look at something might just be what the reader needs to open up another door for him or her. It's your point of view. It's unique. It's important. Oh, sorry, my dog is barking. Hang on, let me stop until I get her quieted down. Sorry about that. So I put her in another room where we won't hear it quite so loud. The second point to gaining confidence here is remembering that you are becoming equipped as you go along in this class. So the way you would respond to a discussion post today might not be as thorough or with as much knowledge as you will at the end of the semester. And that's okay. It's a process. Finally, skills grow when you use them. You have to exercise those muscles in order for them to get stronger, no matter what it is, whether it's your reviewing skills, whether it's your writing skills, your reading skills. So don't be afraid to extend your wings a little bit and fly into this. Remember that what you say ultimately helps your community. You are aiding each other, and as you grow in your ability to review, that's going to help you, and it's going to help your peers. So hang in there. Keep thinking about how you can really go back to that original prompt and look at what is missing or what is not missing. Give those writers some stars and also question them.